Hey, you guys, welcome to the education you can't get in school. Yes, I said it, the education you can't get in school, episode 1. This is a live show, you guys. This show is about what the topic says, the education you can't get in school. So a lot of times, while I was in school, I noticed there are certain topics that I wish they would have touched on, such as health and wellness, fitness, credit score, economics. So I decided, let's not talk about the problem. Let's be a part of the solution. So the education you can't get in school is exactly that, the solution to that problem. And I'm extremely passionate about it. So today we have a guest. Yes, we have a guest on the first episode. His name is Alex McCray. He's a boat builder turned farmer and educator as a certified master gardener. Welcome, Mr. Alex McCray.
Thank you, Artie. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Not a problem, not a problem.
It went over my head, but I won't let it get to me.
Man, I am so astonished to have my first show live in Miami. First off, and meet a man such as yourself to give us some great insights on farming, health, and wellness. So let's cut to the chase. Let's get what they're here for. I want to start off with question number 1. What is your religious background and how did you become a vegetarian?
Religious background. And how did I become a vegetarian? You know, they actually go together. My grandparents were Seventh-day Adventists, and I went to live with them when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
It is at that point that I started to get direction for my life.
Okay.
We read the scriptures every day, every morning we got up, we read the scriptures, and I was expected to live what I read. That's what I saw in my house. So I had to follow those rules. They were also vegetarians. So I had no choice. I ate what was put in front of me, and I was happy at every occasion that I had something to eat. There was no, I don't like this, and we'll try something else. No, there was no place for that. So both goes together. I am really glad for that opportunity that I had at 15 to live with my grandparents.
Wow.
Because today it's the foundation on which my life is built.
I could just feel it, the passion coming from it. So with you staying with your grandma, first off, I stay with my grandma. I love her. I love my grandma to death, to be honest with you. It's like the mom, then it's the grandmama. You know, the grandmama get the mom in check when it's time. So I love staying with my grandma as well. So what exactly made that pivot? So you're staying with your mom. What made the pivot from 15 to say, look, I'm about to stay with my grandparents, and these people are kind of indoctrinating me with the lifestyle of a vegetarian? What did that change happen?
Well, there was no consideration as to an expectation. I was fortunate and happy to go and live with them because my circumstances prior to that time was pretty rough. So the opportunity to go and live with my grandparents and, for instance, have a room for my own and someone to point me in the right direction in life at 15 in Jamaica at that time, you're looking at either you got to find something to do. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. I like that.
You need to find something to do.
Yes.
Going to live with them was a great opportunity. It is without that intervention at that time, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow. Can we get a hand clap for the grandparents? Now that's astonishing. A lot of times we look over the structure of our past. A lot of times we don't focus on it as much. You know how we grow up and I wish my mom would have did it this way, or I wish my auntie, but we don't focus on the structure that they did give us. So that's astonishing to see that you're still saying right now to this day, I give all the glory and honor to my grandparents for giving me the structure that I have.
Sure, definitely.
So that's amazing. But let's talk about this food, man. I see you got some food on the table right now. So it brings me to question number one. What do you think is the problem with the food of today?
Well, if you want to call it food, that's one thing, but a lot of things that we're eating are not really fit for human consumption.
Wow.
We're just eating them because somebody prepared them and gave it to us. We never ask, what is this? What's the nutritional value of this? Those questions are never asked. For instance, if you go to a restaurant and you enjoy the food, and I meet you down the street, what would you say to me? You probably say, Alex, I ate at that restaurant. The food was great. But what are the conditions that made it great? Was it the nutritional value or was it the taste?
I like that.
So in my effort, I am trying to divert people from recognizing food as just tasting great, but to actually know what is in the food they're eating.
Wow. Now that's a lot to divulge in right now. There's a lot of misconceptions going on with food as a whole. For instance, I was looking up Dr. Sebi, and he was speaking on fruits and vegetables being artificially made. Could you divulge on that topic? Is there any truth in that you know about? Because
Dr. Sebi goes out to the extreme. What I mean by that is, what he's saying is correct.
Oh, okay.
Right? What he's saying is correct. If there is any modification in the breeding of the food, it is described as breeding.
Wow.
Then what he says is correct. For instance, a carrot never always looked exactly like we have a carrot today. It was hybridized over time until we got these types that we have and we settled on them. And so we regrow them year after year, the same thing, while in nature, the carrot you grow today might not taste like the carrot you grow tomorrow. Let me give you a good example of a fruit. The apple that you buy in the store, what are they?
Red, green.
Red Delicious, green Delicious,
Granny Smith, yeah.
Yellow Delicious, Granny Smith, etc., etc. Those apples are clowns. A guy, after breeding some apples, came up on a Red Delicious that tastes really good, and he enjoyed that. And every apple after that is a clown. Here's why he did that. Because the apples are not true to seed. That is, if I eat a Red Delicious apple and I planted the seed, it will not taste like the one I ate when the fruit bears.
Wow.
So that is why, oh man, this Red Delicious apple tastes so good, or this Granny Smith tastes so good. For 100 years, you're going to have the same Granny Smith apple, because we just take cuttings off the tree, replant them, or we do what is called cell cultured and grow them in a lab, start them in a lab, and then just plant them out.
Wow. That's a lot to digest in that one topic. Being that the apples won't be the same after you plant them, and a lot of food is being placed inside of a lab. With this being the education you can't get in school, I'm sure a lot of people thinking of what I'm thinking. How do we separate, and where do we go from here to have the proper nutrients in our bodies? Because now we're looking at these stores and we're looking at these fast food restaurants and all of these different products that are being made inside of a lab. And a lot of people are like, okay, with that happening, how do we properly nourish our bodies without being infiltrated with lab techniques and methodologies that they're positioning themselves? How do we separate from the grid and create healthy, sustainable living now?
Well, I think the first thing that we have to do is to become aware of what is happening. Look around you. Just about everybody you meet is taking some kind of medication. So what you're doing is not really helping you. It's putting money in somebody else's pocket when you go to the doctor.
Okay.
You are exactly what you eat.
Cut straight to the point.
There's no if and but about it. What you eat, you become. So if you eat junk, you become junk. If you eat healthy, then you will become healthy. So the goal now is, and we have to start rethinking. It's like becoming a doctor. First, you're not a doctor. You went to school. You learned some new things. You apply those things, and you apply the teaching that you received. Then you can be certified as a doctor. Well, now if you want to start to be healthy, you have to do the same thing. You have to acquire some knowledge, information about food, and you got to apply those information to your daily activities, your daily eating habits, and then you will begin to see the difference. You will begin to feel healthy, and you will stay away from the white coats.
That's what I was thinking about now, all being the sugar and the cheese and so many things. Is it safe to say that we're addicted to that food?
We are. I'd like to go back to the apple for a little bit, because there's something very important that has happened recently.
Okay.
Are you familiar with GMO, genetically modified organism?
Modified, yes.
Okay, so the first apple that was modified is called an Arctic apple, and that is recent. It's not on the market, so to speak, but you find it in schools. Just a little information that there's a genetically modified apple called Arctic apple that has been introduced to our children in school.
Wow. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning about the whole school system previously on how they're taking the memorization and they're calling that educated. And a lot of times we're not applying what we use on the day-to-day. For example, while we're in school, they teach us to take these tests, and I feel like it's so many different attributes of life that they're taking out. For example, economics, I spoke about it earlier, and emotional intelligence. A lot of the manhood is missing, and I feel like it's systematically being done. So we have to create a system to build up where they're lacking. That's what I'm saying. And I tie all of this into the food, because now you're speaking about the apples, and there has to be a way for someone to get the information out, and we can restructure the way we think about it. So when we do see that Arctic apple, we can notice it and say, hey, this shouldn't be in our schools.
Well, this, like I'm saying, you probably never heard of the Arctic apple before.
Never.
So that's the whole point. We have been denied facts, the truth, or when we hear it, we have been so educated that we ignore the truth. In some instances, we call the truth
conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
I
needed you to say conspiracy. Sometimes the truth is what's recognized as being a conspiracy theory. Why? Because the general public is not aware of what's going on.
Awareness, strategic thinking.
So as long as it's a guy dressed up and look good and step forward and says, this is the way it is, we go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. That's not necessarily it.
Wow.
But our school system is such that it doesn't allow us to think. And if
That's
you're not allowed to think for yourself, then you have to follow the thoughts of other people. The food system is the same way. The the foods that we have today is void of nutrient. Void of nutrient. Let me give you an example. Let's talk about salt. Salt. There's a salt, Himalayan salt.
Okay, I know about the crystals.
It's a pink looking salt. It has 84 minerals. 84 minerals, right?
Sir.
Now, our body needs these minerals for just about every function that takes place within us. All the enzymes that are being made, the hormones that are being made, some potassium, sodium, our body just functions with all these minerals. But the salt that you normally get in the supermarket, take a guess. How many elements do you think is in there?
Man, I looked at sugar and I was like, man, so this is going to be disappointing.
How many minerals you think are in that salt? You know, the one in the blue box, the white top? Sometimes it says contain iodine.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah, I saw that good salt you put with that pepper when we were younger. I say 1.
Okay. So it's sodium and chlorine. Then they add aluminum as an anti-caking agent. Aluminum is a neurotoxin. Then they add silica and they add preservative. Now you can go online and research this for yourself. So from 84 to 3 or 4, where are the 80? Where do they go? Well, according to what I learned and I heard is that those were sold to the pharmaceutical industry for doing their thing.
Wow.
So you only get actively sodium and chlorine, sodium chloride.
Wow.
Because the aluminum, your body doesn't want to use it. It doesn't need it. It doesn't use it. It's toxic. So your body has to get rid of it. The silica, yeah, there's some use for a small amount of silica, but for the most part, your body has to get rid of it. So you're left with 2 guys.
Okay.
Sodium, chlorine.
Wow. Okay.
So if your body needs 84, actually, if I'm not mistaken, your body actually needs 102 different types of minerals.
Yeah, I was going to go there.
So if you're only getting 2, tell me, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh yeah. Your body will definitely, you start showing discoloration and all type of things because your body needs it. So
every time you make the cake, the vanilla is missing. And you taste it and, oh, wait a minute, something is missing here. This don't taste right.
Strategically dysfunctioning us through the food. It's like an attack from our own people, it seems like. But,
so one of the things that I do, Artie, is I encourage people, listen, you need to learn about the food that you eat, okay? Anything that comes in a package, anything that comes in a plastic container is toxic. You'll never see me drink anything from this bottle. When you touch your computer, it's toxic. Let me explain. There are compounds called phthalates. It's a group of compounds that is put into plastic so that plastics can have their specific structure. For instance, a particular phthalate gave this plastic.
you're going into the matter and compounds now. I got you.
Gave your computer, gave this water bottle, gave your shoe, gave this television, gave anything that's plastic. And there's plastic everywhere. You can't get away from it. Your watch, your computers, your cell phone, everything you touch, phthalates. So it's important for modern living. Phthalate, you gotta have all these stuff, right? Well, here's the deal. While the phthalate imparts certain characteristics to the plastic, it does not remain a part of the plastic. It leaches out.
Mm.
You ever bought a new car? And you go in your new car, man, and you smell that new car. Oh my gosh. Honey, come here. Come and sit with me. Oh, feels so good. You know what you're breathing in? Phthalates. It's coming out of the plastic in the car, man. When you leave your car in the sun all day, at the end of the day, you go to get into your car, and you open that door, and you get a blast of hot, nice air. Phthalates. Now, this is important. I'm not going to go into it because it's really get into some biology.
Oh no, we're not gonna cut your
Right,
wisdom.
so we're not going to go there. But let me tell you something. Phthalates destroy certain extremely important function in our cells. One, fat metabolism in the cell and the removal of toxin, poison in the cell. Okay? It destroys the area in the cell that is supposed to metabolize fat and detoxify poison. So if it's not working properly, what is going to happen? People are going to get sick. There's no,
wow, the attack.
Exactly.
You see how it all came around. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's strategic. All of this and what you're saying, there is no accidental. I feel like if you were to push the imbalance of something, a lot of things, like I looked up of history, the babies in the 1990s, because of the construction era, those were big minefields, those General Motors came, a lot of asthma came from it. So it's no coincidence why certain sicknesses peak at certain times. Now, I'm just now hearing about Dallas, if I pronounced it right, but I didn't understand the effect of it. So now I'm more cognizant of it, and I'm looking at it from a perspective of where does the awareness come? How do you prevent yourself from too much phthalates exposure?
There's no way to get around it. You just have to know it exists. You wash your hands as much as possible. You don't do some things that you don't have to do. You don't need this. You buy a distiller for a couple $100 at your house and you make your own water. It doesn't get any cleaner. You distill all the impurities out of it and you get some Himalayan salt, put some salt, add some salt to the water so you have some mineral back in there and you have a good electrolyte. And it's a matter of education. When I started doing these things, because I've always been health conscious. Mm-hmm. I remember when I had my boat building company, well, when I got married, mm-hmm. me and my wife agreed, because she had some medical issues, that she would be a home mother. Mm. So going out to work, there's no getting sick business here. I have to be there every day. So my goal is, listen.
You bring that money home, man.
Grandma, I didn't see her getting very sick very often, so she must have been doing something good. So I'm going to continue doing what she was doing. So I never changed my diet. Okay. I just keep at it and learning more about what I'm eating as I went along.
Okay. So
what really is good for me is that I have a good biology background. I wanted to be a radiologist. Mm. And so I have a good chemistry, physics, biology background from way back when. And when I went to school, I didn't sit in the back. I sit in the front. So I have some information.
Definitely.
So that the other guy, he can tell me things, but he can't fool me. Because I'm not just going to listen to what he has to say. I know I can Information is at our fingertips these days.
Definitely. I was going to get there. The information era.
Exactly.
You got no reason to be ignorant.
And by the way, one of the things that I encourage at my workshops is this. You're using cilantro in your dish.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because you got a recipe from somebody else and they told you use cilantro. And you start eating and you taste the cilantro taste. Oh, yeah, that's cool. But what are the nutritional value of the cilantro? I am trying to get people to stop thinking of it tastes nice to it's got nutritional value that I recognize. I know what it's doing for me. So when you stand in front of your kitchen counter and you take that garlic out of the refrigerator to use it, get your smart speaker going or your cell phone and ask on the World Wide Web, what is the nutritional value of this garlic, this onion, this scallion, this cilantro, this parsley, the rosemary I'm using? If we start doing that, you know what happened?
What?
In no time, we have this transformation from it just tastes good to this is nutritious.
So the question that I wanted to I had personally was, I'm sure a lot of people thinking, is too much good stuff bad for you in the health industry? Because a lot of times, I know, I'm going to speak for myself, I would be probably walking on eggshells to figure out what to eat, how to nourish my body, because they're making it hard to find real healthy food. So even if you are health conscious, where do we get it? It's the first question. And the second question is too much good food bad for us?
I am not sure I understand that question. It's too much food bad for us. Good food bad
good
for us.
Good nutritious food. Is it bad? Because they are, I was saying, I'm not sure if you guys heard of it, but too much good stuff could be bad for you. So does that replicate itself in the food industry?
I'm not sure that would be correct.
Okay.
I think good food, we have to define what is good food. That's the first thing.
Let's do it.
Because whenever I meet someone and we're talking about eating, you know what they always tell me? Alex, I eat well. And so I ask, well, what do you eat? And they told me, well, you know, there's the beef that I buy in the store and the sweet potatoes and the potatoes and some rice and that's it. Yeah, pretty much. I said, where's the vegetables? Oh, vegetable. We don't eat too much vegetables. You don't eat vegetables. Okay. So why not? Well, it's not the greatest thing for you. You got to have your protein. So, all right. That's true. You got to have your protein. But the cow has to have its protein too. I don't see him eating any. I don't see it eating any other animal to get its protein. So there's a mechanism that allows that cow to convert what he eats to what his body needs. He's putting the right things in. If we do the same thing, we're good to go.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people today, because technology has allowed us to do so much research, that one guy's researching pea protein. One guy's researching collagen protein. One guy's researching beef protein. Another is doing some other research. And they all come up with valuable information. And they present their information. So now the confusion is, which one should I choose?
Exactly.
Which is the best one?
Exactly.
Without some basic knowledge of food, and you can get it right here on the internet, you kind of get lost. you're not sure what to do. So you choose one. And you might figure, oh, this does work for me. Then there is the different types of diet that's recommended by people who means good. They've done their research and come up with the idea that Atkins diet is the best, or keto diet is the best, or vegan diet is the best, vegetarian diet is the best. Oh, you got to eat everything that comes before you. But these can be dangerous. Let me explain a little about vegan. So you choose to be a vegan. My first question to you would be, why? Why would you choose? Why do people choose to be vegans? So another guy might answer that question this way and says, well, you guys are killing all the animals and you're doing a really bad job raising them, and they're becoming a real problem. That's my reason. I'm an activist. Another guy might say, well, I just want to do it for a health reason. I understand that a plant-based diet is really beneficial and it would help me get over many of the illnesses that I'm having. But without really understanding, for instance, digestion, how your food is digested, no matter what diet you choose, you're going to have problems. Let's stick with the vegan for a moment. First, how long do you chew your food when you're eating?
Me, I chew it quick enough to go down. I'm a man. We get
let's get it out of the way.
Let's just be honest here, y'all. We just grab the food and once it gets, small enough to swallow, that's exactly what we do. I mean, as I do. I'm going to speak for myself. So.
Well, on the other hand, my food becomes a liquid in my mouth. There's a reason for that. You see, digestion actually begins in your mouth. Carbohydrates begins to break down in your mouth. There's an enzyme, amylase, that breaks down carbohydrates in your mouth. You don't give it enough time to break the carbohydrates down. What's going on in your stomach? Incomplete, broken down. The first stage of digestion hasn't taken place because you just swallow the stuff down. The next thing is you take this water and you help to wash it down. It doesn't need any help. Your saliva can lubricate the driest food that you put in your mouth. Just be patient. See, you learn to eat fast from your mother. See, your mother goes out to work. You're a baby, you're a toddler, time to have some solid food. Mom come home, she's cooking there, she's doing this, she's got 100 things on her mind to do, and she's got to feed you. And so you learn, it gets in, it gets down right away. We have to understand we can't do that if we want to be healthy.
Wow.
Then there are other factors. For instance, vitamin B12, active B12 that your body needs. One is called methylcobalamin. Cobalamin just means B12. So there's methyl type, and there's adenosine cobalamin. So there's two types, and they have different function within our body.
Yes, sir.
But there's a third one called cyanocobalamin that is made in the laboratory. Your body can't handle the cyano part, so it's got to cut it off, get rid of it, and find a methyl to stick onto that cobalamin so it can use it. That's a basic understanding of that. However, if you have stomach issues, stomach condition, hydrochloric problem, ulcers, your body secretes what is called the intrinsic factor. This is like a guy comes on and grabs onto the B12 and say, I'm going to take you across from the intestine into the blood because you can't get there by your own. So you could be living for many years not taking B12 and not absorbing it. There's a way around it. Because you know why there's a way around it?
Why?
We are fearfully and wonderfully made by the hands of the Creator. You understand me? Human beings are amazingly made. So we're able to make B12, both types.
Wow.
We're able to make them in the lab. Actually, bacteria in our intestine should be making them for us. But that's another story.
This is some deep stuff, man.
So we take some B12 sublingually,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes right into our blood. So we can bypass the uncertainty of whether we're absorbing B12 or not. These are items that we normally use in our preparation of food.
Uh-huh.
We have cilantro, we have parsley, we have dandelion, we have cucumbers.
Okay. So with those items, did you grow those items from your garden, or did you go purchase them?
I didn't grow these items from my garden. We grow them, but I got these from the supermarket.
Okay. All right. So
the question is, like I said before, we have to teach our wives, our children, ourselves, that before we use this thing here, we know what it is. We have a habit of buying things in a supermarket, taking it home, reading that box of cereal, and we don't understand, we don't know what some of these words mean. They are all chemical description, but what is it?
wow.
Why are you going to put something in your body that you have no knowledge of? You don't know what it is all about.
Yeah, that's definitely a big misunderstanding that we're having when it comes down to food, and it kind of crunches everything up to us because we're lost in the abyss. Even in the information era, with the computers being able to find out so much information, if you find it out, you're uninformed. If you don't see it, you're misinformed. So if someone wants to contact you directly, do you have any channels or avenues that they can go to ask you any questions or get a 30-minute session? We'll be placing this on a YouTube channel. So if you got any other...
I have a Farmer Alex Facebook page.
Okay, Farmer Alex.
There's quite a bit of things posted there. And I have a WhatsApp page called The Farmer's Corner.
The Farmer's Corner, yeah.
So we introduce people to that if they are interested in getting to coming aboard and seeing what's there, because there's always things there to help us. Guys, you have no idea what goes on in the food production business.
That's a huge fact. And speaking of that, it was one of the misconceptions that I wanted to state was having a six-pack was not a good thing. And I was wishing someone would have told me as a kid the understanding of abs. Because we look at those abs and say, man, they look nice, they look well, but this person is unhealthy. So it's a difference between looking and being healthy. You go to the gym to work out, but once you start cutting your body fat and your body weight, it can cause fatigue, a compromised immune system, vitamin deficiencies, muscle wastage. It's just so much comes from the six-pack abdomens that are showcased amongst the world. Superman, as a child, he had a six-pack, and we all wanted it, and we thought it was healthy. But to my understanding, after doing some strategic research, I found out that having a six-pack wasn't healthy because you're cutting your body fat, and that body fat could be raising your immune system. So now you're susceptible to certain diseases, and your immune system can be weaker, so it can be compromised. So I wanted to break that because a lot of times, when I was young, I wanted that six-pack. I wanted that six-pack. I'll run. I'll stop eating for that six-pack, and I got it. And the girls loved it, but I was hurting. And I was like, you know what? It's something about this six-pack because I can't laugh without grabbing my abs and hurting. So something was a problem. So I definitely wanted to break that fact here about the six-pack, you guys, and just do some research on your own because a lot of these facts, like Mr. Alex told you, like I've told you, all you have to do is do the research because it's more than the popular thing. It's a reason why it's being pushed to you and sold to you. A lot of times it could be representation of unhealthiness and an unclean lifestyle.
You want to be careful about that six-pack deal because you want to have well-developed muscles. It holds your body together. And when you go to the extreme, that don't make any sense. Then you're going into danger zone. And a lot of people get there by using steroids and other different chemicals. But to be healthy, you're not supposed to have anything here. You're not pregnant.
Yeah.
That we leave it to the women.
Yeah, we see that now.
You know, you're supposed to have a nice flat stomach, and you need to have some muscles there. So the six-pack is not a real bad thing. It's when you get beyond where you should be, that and how you get there. It's all about what's in your mind, how you think about it. Because you need. You don't want to you don't want to have that.
Yeah, at the same time,
That's not a good. That is not a good thing at all.
Man. Well, listen. This is episode 1. I just want to say thank you for coming out. I want to say thank you to the crowd for coming out. We got some raffles that we'll be doing right after the show. I want to say thank you to everybody on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you'll be seeing this. And at the end of the day. Oh, wait, you got anything else you want to tell the people about the food, about the consumption of food before we go? I don't want to cut your wisdom.
What I'd like to say is you are what you eat. So if you're in a situation that you don't like, then maybe you should take a look at what you're eating. Because definitely you got there from what you were eating. So to get into a state of wellness, you need to eat food that are healthy. And packaged foods in the supermarket, forget about it. There is no health there. So I would encourage everybody, use the internet. Get online. Check things out. Whenever you look at the package and there's words there that you don't recognize, check it out. Your phone is right there. Pull the phone out and take a look. What is this stuff? And there's a telephone number usually on the package too. So you call up and ask the person who answers the phone, tell me something about this. You have time for one quick story?
Yeah, go ahead. Y'all got time for one quick story? All right.
Okay, so I'm in Costco. I shop at Costco. And I went to get a bottle of honey. So this bottle of honey says it's organic honey. So I'm thinking, these people got to be crazy. How on earth can you get organic honey? You don't track the bees. The bees can go wherever it wants to go. Wherever it wants to go, it goes. So I looked at the bottle. I saw the telephone number. I called them up. How do you get organic honey? I was blown away. Here's how they got organic honey. See, they have this huge warehouse. And they grow all the bees inside that warehouse. And they feed the bees fructose corn syrup. Fructose corn syrup comes from genetically modified corn. Some people say it's good. Some people say it's not good. You guys decide for yourself. But that's what they fed the bees. So now they say, we're growing organic honey. So even the word organic, sometimes you have to be careful.
There's so many different diagnostics to it, man. They work so hard to make bad stuff taste good. They work so hard to make these cheeseburgers and these steaks and these potato chips and these fries. I feel like they put in so much extra work to make this food taste good to our systems that our brain forgets it's negative stuff going in our body.
Hey, but we need the convenience, man. Life needs to be convenient. I don't have time for this or that. Or hey, give me a burger, a double burger.
Yo, man.
and upside it. What do you call it when you get a larger one?
Oh, double.
Supersize it.
Super.
You know, I mean, your stomach can only hold so much. Supersize it anyway. How are you going to be healthy?
So many different facts, so many school of thoughts, Mr. Alex. I knew you would take us to a level that we have never been with the conversation. I just want to say thank you for coming out. This was mind-blowing for me. I'm sure the crowd thought the same. The different food sources, the way that we eat the food, how we should digest, and let it turn into a liquid before you digest it fully.
Before you swallow it.
Before you swallow it. And this was just so amazing. I just want to say thank you guys again. Thank you guys here. Thank you guys on YouTube. This is the education that you cannot get in school. And always remember, when you stop learning, you stop growing. See you guys later.